I'd like to call to order the Public Works and Safety Committee meeting on Tuesday, August 17th at 5:32 p.m. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty, roll call.
Alderman Hamel. Alderman Engelhardt.
Here.
Alderman Terrence. Alderman Kabaki.
Here.
Director Krieger.
Here.
Okay, statement of public notice.
This meeting was posted in accordance with public meeting laws on August 13th.
Great. Approval of minutes. Approval of the minutes of the March 16th, 2021 meeting. Should we do these separately?
They can be.
Do them all together.
Okay. And the April 20th, 2021 meeting and the May 18th, 2021 meeting.
Move to approve the three.
Second.
Record.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes. Status of projects. Scott.
Okay, Great Water Lines. I know that's affecting a lot of you guys out there because right now Durham Drive is shut down. So while you don't see a lot of work being done on Moreland right now, they have 3 crews on Durham Drive right now putting that Great Water Lines pipe in. The plan is to have that road resurfaced the week of August 30th to get it open before school. That's why you have 3 crews down there and you do not see anything going on Moreland Road. But once they finish Durham Drive, they're going to be back up coming down Moreland Road. Again, that's Great Water Lines. Please refer to the page out there. That project is not affiliated with the city of Muskego. It's just going through the city of Muskego. And I know it's causing a lot of trouble for residents, but hopefully they're moving forward really quick. The weather's been nice. So the next one, Hillendale Road construction. So all the ditches have been graded for the entire site. All the original pavement is gone. Tomorrow, phase 1 from Tans to College, the binder and driveways will start being put in, okay? The first layer. By the end of the week, the second layer of the binder will go. Now this is if there's no rain, there's nothing going on. What that means is that it will be a asphalt surface that you can drive on. It won't be the surface, the final 2 inches, but the first 4 inches will be put down. That'll be nice, and why that's needed to get done is the school is starting September 1st. We need the pavement done for that to get that going. The second thing is then we flip over to, or next one is August 23rd, the restoration work will start in that area. And when I mean restoration work is topsoiling, seeding, anything that needs to get back in the growing area. All right, that is phase 1, and that is from Tans to College for everyone who's out there. Phase 2, all right, that is from Tans down to Racine, okay? So right now, the culvert pipes are going in for the driveways. Mid-September, that binder is going to go down. And then they'll start right away doing the surface. And then they'll do the whole entire road for the surface. And right now, the game plan is to do that in mid-September. Again, we've been very lucky. The weather's going very well, so there hasn't been any delays. The biggest delays that we've had is utilities have not gotten out of our ways for this. It's been kind of very frustrating from a city standpoint. It is taking a long time for We Energies, AT&T, Spectrum. They've been everywhere where we wanted them to get out of the way. And then after the surface goes down, the restoration work for everything on phase 2 will start. We are hoping all payment is done by October 1st of 2021. And this is from our latest meeting that I had today about everything going on.
As taxpayers, are we allowed to ask questions of what is going on in front of our houses that you can hopefully set us straight on? We have been hearing so many rumors about what's going on with this project.
I can, if you want to come up, I will try to answer them the best I can. Now, if it's individual with your particular home, I don't have the plans in front of me, so you would have to come back and talk to me about it. If you want to ask, like, in general, something that I can answer, I will do my best to do it right now. If you want to come up and just state your name for the record, and I will do the best I can to answer it.
My name is Melanie Sinner. I live at West 194, South 69, We've been dealing with this since April.
You turn the
Yeah, Mike's up there.
pull it forward, just slide it
So you see the on button?
on there.
Yep.
The switch.
Yep.
There
Yep.
you go.
There you go.
Yep, thank you.
So we have been dealing with this since April. Today, they're back in my yard moving the gas lines after they already moved them once. We were told originally that our ditches were going to be 2 feet deep. The ditch in front of my house is 5 feet deep. One of my questions is, how did it get from 2 feet to 5 feet?
We're not completely done. You still have to put the topsoil of the seed in
Right.
there. So what's happening with the utilities, and this is what happened, all right? So we create a set of plans. We give them to the utilities. They went out there, and when they established the laterals, they didn't look at where the ditches were. So a lot of the laterals, and there's probably about 10 of them along the way, they didn't put deep enough. So when we start going out there and looking and digging ditches, we ran into tons of laterals, gas laterals. That's why they're coming back. It's called utility conflicts. They're coming back and lowering it for your house. You're not the only one. There's at least 10 on there. And your frustration is the same frustration I'm having, because that work should all been done back in April and May.
I
And
can
then,
see how frustrated you are trying to get out of your driveway every day when there's a dump truck in your way. Some people have to call the cops to get out of their driveway. So I know you're really frustrated for us. I can feel that. The other question I have.
I am, because the thing is this. I have a school that's got to get done, and I know you guys have been pretty vocal during the whole public information process. We want to get done and in and out. We don't want to hold you up. There's no point for us to hold you up. Why would we try to hold you up?
I don't say you are. But the fact that everyone's concentrating on a school that's in session for 180 days, and the people that live here for 365 days out of the year, we're not a priority. The school is the number one priority. They're there for 180 days out of the year. But the people that live there 365 days out of the year, it's like, we're just going to have to deal with it. And just getting back to the 5-foot ditch, are you telling me that you're going to put 3 feet of topsoil in that ditch?
Again, when we still haven't finished everything out. It's just rough graded by your house. You're in phase 2. I know exactly where you are. Again, we have still not finished it. But remember, when we were talking about this project, and we all discussed whether or not you wanted a ditch to more rural for stormwater, or the fact that you wanted a trail, you all wanted, and the majority of people voted and said no trail. So we went with ditches there. Now, if you would have gone with the trail on the side, and I want to explain to you.
I don't have my boots on, so.
But there would have been a
Don't get
curb and
too
gutter
deep.
and stormwater on that side and the trail. But I remember a lot of you people came here and you did not want anything to do with the trail, and you wanted that rural cross section with those ditches. And that was the original design. We had 2 public information meetings, and that's what happened. We need those ditches for stormwater. When you have, there's no pond there, there's nothing. I don't want the water to fill anyone's basement, nor the fact is too is, besides the water holding on the west side, it eventually goes to the east side and eventually goes to the lake. The best thing we can do with ditches is sometimes it infiltrates back in the ground. It stops the water from going into people's homes. It stops the water from running really fast down to the lake, and it kind of cleans it a little bit in there before it hits the lake. That's kind of these purposes of these ditches.
And the trees that you took out, those were doing that just perfectly.
So the trees, when you look at a clear zone and when you start doing it, if you go off the road, for example, or a deer comes out or a person, and this was kind of all talked about when we did the public information meeting, we pulled those trees so that if there's an issue, that you would come around and we'd stop with the trees. Now, I know you had 3 trees there. I believe from the original plan, the second plan, we looked at it and we saved every one of your trees out there. We worked with you even, and the original plan, I think you were supposed to lose 2 of those 3, and we worked with you to try to save it. I tried to do my best to save as many trees out there because you know what? That was one of the complaints we heard. We saved some, we even had to go out there and we asked residents, and like, hey, this tree is gonna be a problem for the ditch here, are you okay? And some of you guys were really nice and said, guess what, just take it, and we took it away. But we tried to save as many trees as you could, so.
I would say saving my trees and digging half the roots out, that's kind of still up in the air whether you really saved the trees or not. But I'm not here to argue with you and go back and forth about what's going on with my trees.
We understand when you were doing that and some of the roots, but I'm trying to give you a chance with the trees. I'm trying to work with you and say, guess what? You know what? Let's see what happens. Because you know what? At Bay Lane, we had a couple of them where we did it, and all those trees have survived. So if I can try to save your trees, and I know you've been very vocal about it, and that's great. I want to hear it. That's what we try to do for this project. So
another question, because everyone has something else to say, but the street at phase 1 was taken down so that the humps where the man covers are. Phase 2, they went by once, and parts of it, there is still no blacktop even taken up.
No. It's a different method called pulverizing because there's 20 inches. That was an old county road, and I mean, they poured on and on and on and on. And when we pulverize that with the millings and kind of get that base, it's solid. I mean, do not worry. We kind of went with that method to kind of do it. Your road is still, that portion of the road by yourself, it's just getting it ready. We're still going to go back. If we see soft areas, we have to dig out soft areas and we have to put brand new base in to make sure it's solid. It's called proof rolling it before you make sure that it's okay. So we're definitely going to make that road safe before we pour any asphalt paving on it.
So basically what they did in phase 1 was they tore out everything, they took it out, and then they put gravel down. Because they're not doing that on phase 2.
That road, from pretty much the local down, that had really soft soils. If you look at it, it was like failing. It was terrible soils. We couldn't put a road on that base. Yours is pretty solid, and if we go through it and we still find something that needs to be repaired, we'll dig it out and we'll make sure it's good. It's called proof rolling it, but we are trying to do as much as we can where we don't have to pull out too much material back and forth. It makes more sense economically.
Right, because we're here to save money,
yeah,
right?
Correct.
Do you know how much this project is costing by any chance?
Sure. It was budgeted for $2.2 million. I think we got it for 1.6. It was a pretty good deal. The bids were really good.
And as far as all the utilities coming back, I heard that they're going to have to raise all of the electric it's too low.
I do not know because guess what? I don't control the utilities, nor do I have it.
But it's the Hillendale Road project. I would assume that you would know what's going on Hillendale Road.
I know that they have to move their utilities lines. I have not heard that they had to raise up or anything what you just said. Okay, because I just had a meeting on Tuesday, and the head guy from We Energies was here, and nowhere did he, in the meeting, he said, guess what? All our lines are too low.
That's what he's telling us.
Again, this is just what I had in the meeting. Now, again, you guys hear a field guy. I hear what my staff meeting is. I will make a note of it. We'll find out what it's going to happen. Okay? I don't like to do rumors. I don't like to say anything I am telling you from a meeting that I had today at 9:30 in the morning that I have every week about this project. The We Energy guy, who is a pretty top guy, would have told me, hey, by the way, guess what? We said everything wrong. We got to raise things up. Okay. Now, there's a lot of things on the poles. Please be aware. There's We Energies, there's AT&T, and there's Spectrum.
Yeah.
They all got a certain height. Mm-hmm. Okay. They all got to be a certain height. All right. Now, to help people out, I believe Spectrum went on before AT&T did. So that means AT&T might have to hop up between back and forth to try to get the utilities out of the way. Okay, so don't be surprised if you're like, they're kind of like, they all get a little spot on that pole. They might be adjusting where they are, just to be aware of that.
Just one more question.
Yep.
It's really hard to get an update on Muskego's site as to what's going on. There's a very outdated scheduling.
Yeah.
Where phase 1 is really phase 2, and this project, believe it or not, on that thing that I keep looking at, is going to be done on August 28th. Is there any way you can kind of give the people, the 80 people that live on the street, a little bit of idea what's going on?
Sure.
And something we can refer to on a daily basis?
Well, on a daily,
Because some of us like want to have people over to our houses, and when there's dump trucks in front of our house, it's, it used to be that they're going to do this for 6 days and they're going to do that for 8 days. Now it's like there's no method to the madness because they're not on schedule. And I have no idea when they're doing anything. And it would just be nice
I
for
can
the
put
people that live on that street to kind of get an idea as to what's going on from one day to the next.
And the thing is this, I can do and put a schedule on there, but I'm telling you right now, whatever the schedule is, it's not going to hit that date that I started in April, because the utilities have been so far behind. And why we had to flip-flop, it's more about right now with schools, the amount of people drop in and drop off, and the school buses. We have got to get that pavement still done in time. And I know, but there's 600 kind of kids with employees that go there, and
There's 500 kids that go to school there.
with employees about 600. I think that's the last time I checked or something.
We don't have 100 people that work there, but
Oh.
whatever.
It's a ballpark number that there's a lot of people. So, and because you live on the road, when it's drop off and pick up, it is insane on that road. So that's why we're trying to get just that payment in right now. And even with that, they're probably going to have to enter in off of Hillendale and probably exit off of Racine until we're done with everything. So it's trying to be.
So getting back to my question, is there a way to give us an update as to, like the Water Alliance, supposedly there's an update on that, you can go online, but for the Hillendale Road project, like we're like in the dark as to what's going on.
I can give
on
you
our
like
street.
an update for the schedule, but it's only weekly and it changes.
That would be awesome if we could get like a weekly update. We would love that.
And now don't be afraid to talk. There's an inspector out there, and I know John from Grave, he has talked to probably a lot of you guys.
Everyone on the street.
Yeah,
he's
and you know what else too? Most people email me. I probably field 2 or 3 emails a day from residents along Hillendale, and I do.
I'm on summer vacation. I don't do computers.
I know,
Summer
but
vacation.
I'm just saying that the idea of communication, just to let you know,
Right.
I can put it on there, but if anyone, 2 to 3 people call me a day or email me and I answer them, or John probably deals with 4 or 5.
Right.
So.
Well, I don't think the onus should be on us. I think the
we
onus
can,
should be on
we
you.
can post weekly.
We can post.
Yeah, I think you should
Is that
post
satisfactory
something
then?
to let us know what's
If we
going
post
on.
weekly, but keeping in mind that
It's fluid. It's a very fluid.
I agree. But the fact that the schedule right now says that this is going to be done August 28th, that is like way off. So if you could give us a little clear idea when things are happening. You just said mid-October
And that's why I kind
mid-September
of.
for 2 different things. And it's like, well, how can you accomplish 2 things in mid-September? Mid-September is 1 week and you have them doing 2 different things.
Because there's different contractors. So, for example, he's the main. He's got an asphalt contractor and he's got a landscaper. So while one guy's doing one side of it, the other guy can do the landscaping on the other side. So you got to understand. There's multiple people working on it.
We see that every day.
Oh.
We're there. We see that.
And where a lot of that is there's at least 3 or 4 utility companies out there right now.
Yeah.
And it looks like
We know that because we live there and we see it every day.
And I apologize. It looks like a war zone. It truly does.
But I heard it's going to be beautiful. I'll just leave it with that because I know some other people want to talk.
I would like to speak if you don't mind.
Please state your name and your address, please.
Andy McKee, West 194, South 7140 Hillendale Drive.
Thank you.
Thank you. A lot of things I would love to say. I appreciate that you are taking a tact of sympathy as opposed to The tact that a number of our other elected officials have with, it's the right of way, it was never yours, quit whining, which I've seen repeatedly and is really frustrating. And while, yes, the right of way is not ours, understood, we have taken care of it and maintained it. And right now in the right of way, I have hanging wires, a ditch full of wires. My driveway has been irreparably damaged by excavators being parked on my lawn. I've had a slant drilling device parked on my lawn. My ditch, which is supposed to be 3 feet deep, is 7 feet deep. If you go 100 feet down, the ditch is, they dug out about 9 feet. I have 17 feet of what was my front lawn or right away missing now. The tree that was saved, and I appreciate you trying to save one of my 2 trees, you can see all of the roots where the bucket came down on it. My big issue is outside of Peeper Power, the people you have there are the most disrespectful, rude, inconsiderate workers you could possibly hire. My wife is a nurse practitioner. She is the attending physician for 80 some odd hospice patients. It is her job to go out to the sick and dying and make them comfortable in their final days. 15 times in the last month, our driveway has been blocked. Now, if you're familiar with my address, I know, Alderman, you are, there's out of 100 feet, you maybe have 3 driveways that you could block if you try. I've had a crane truck, multiple excavators, a giant roller, a slant drilling trench digger. They parked directly in front of my driveway, and my wife has had to walk as far down as almost to Racine to find somebody to move it. Recently, we had 2 of the big pulverizers right at Racine. You could not exit on Racine. I tried to go up Tans. I could not exit on Tans because there's an excavator and a bulldozer. And I could not exit on Lembedseder or any of the other roads because there is a potable water truck. I was trapped, could not leave. Found one of your workers. And I quote when I said, "How can we get out?" And I said, "There's a lady over there trying to get to her house and she can't, there's a water truck in the way." Quote, pardon my language, "I wish you people would quit your fucking bitching. If you can't find a way out, go home and sit for a while." This is how we are talked to. Every day, there's a concrete cistern kind of right at my property and my neighbor's property. It's been moved 4 times. I've asked, why do you guys have to keep moving this? Job security. While it's the right of way and it's not mine, I'm the one who gets to clean up sandwich bags, Coke cans, McDonald's bags, trash that's left there. Infinite amounts of cigarette butts. Apparently that's the hot break spot for everybody to take. When I've said, hey, can you guys not throw trash here? It's like, well, we'll get rid of it eventually. What do you care? It's all dug up anyways. These are the comments we get.
Now, I can control Super Western, anything with the utilities, which
These are not utility workers.
But like the drill thing with the utility, that's a utility thing. I'm just letting you know.
Okay, who's the excavator? Who's the crane truck? Who's the bulldozer?
Okay, I can control Super Western, but please, there is 4 or 5 utility companies out there.
I understand.
And I can let them know in a meeting and say, guess what? This gentleman here, and I believe you've emailed me a couple times, and I think I've you know a couple and
like
a couple times their guys are out there.
Yep.
And if you have damage to your road, just again send me a photo, send everything. I believe you had a wire that came down in front of your driveway, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Are you just north
that's
of
another
Mugsy?
wonderful thing. You better move your car, or we're going to drop the line on your car.
That's a utility company. I can pass that on, and I tried it, I think, and they kind of came out right away, I believe. Didn't the utility guys come out?
The gentleman from Peeper Power came out, took my issues, and he said the same thing. You know, was it any of my guys? I said, no, your guys have actually been polite and nice.
Okay.
But we're passing the buck and we're passing the blame. Oh, it was $2.2 million, but we got the bids in at $1.2 million. At what cost? At what cost did we save?
I can pass it on to the utility people. Again, I only can control what Super Western, and I know your address, and I will pass on that. I know exactly where you are, and I'll pass on, and I'll just make notes of it. It's easy for me to do.
Okay.
All right, and I've done it before for you because I got Peeper to come out, like, I think within 24 hours.
And unfortunately, Peeper wasn't a problem. They have been the polite people or the understanding people, the ones who don't park directly in front of my driveway. Like I said, 30 days, half of the, I'm not counting weekends, but half of them, we've had an excavator, a bulldozer, a pulverizer, the slant drilling device. They park directly in our driveway, or it's just a standard work truck, a green work truck, 2 yellow lights on top. My wife needs to see patients. I also work and have emergency calls that I have to leave. We also need to get our children where they need to go. And when we can't find somebody and we sit a half an hour going up and down the road frantically, hey, where is anybody? And then we're treated like absolute dirt because we want to leave our driveway. We want to leave our road. We want to exist and travel freely as human beings in this wonderful free country of ours. But we get told things like, quit your effing being. Now, whether or not these are utility companies that you can control or not, if you cannot control them, then that will fall on us to control them. And I am really close to exerting a level of control on some of these people in the way they've spoken to me, my wife, and my 5-year-old son.
Now,
And
I would recommend not doing that because then people in that office gets involved. I will pass on your concerns. I've done it before. You know, it's easy for me to do.
You're saying you can pass it on, but you can't control them. Who can? Who do I need to talk to that can? That's my issue.
I usually go to their bosses and they'll try to be as responsive as they can. Again, you can't control everything on everything. I can do my best of passing on your concerns and letting the different people do it. That's why we have construction meetings every Tuesday, and I can send an email tomorrow to all the people, and I know your address. I will say, this is the concern passed on by this resident. Please, you know, this and that. If you feel your driveway has been damaged, if you don't send an email to me, John Barberitz, we've had other people who've had their driveways damaged. No one has complained about any of these responses. Again, my last caveat, it is road construction. I am trying to get it done as fast as I can and get out of the way.
I can appreciate your situation. I owned a business on Janesville Road. Mm-hmm. I dealt with 3+ years of construction. I've been through it. I have family members who are civil engineers. Point of fact, one of them visited, drove up and down the road, said, oh my God, who designed these ditches? Because some are this wide, some are this wide, some are this wide. He said, I really hope that this isn't how they're planning on finishing the project. I said, well, I would hope not either.
No, but at the same time too, when we are looking at different people and trying to provide a little sympathy for homeowners and the idea of ditches and saving trees,
sure,
we did our best to do modifications where we thought would be in the best interest of the homeowner as we listen to you.
I believe that you have a level of respect and sympathy for us. As she said, we live there 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. I believe that you have a level of respect and you have a level of concern because you've been responsive and you have listened. That is my issue, is that I feel as a resident and as a human being completely disrespected by some of these people. It's almost like it's a funny game to them. Let's block a driveway. Literally 3 driveways, 100 feet, and you pick mine to park a truck in front of. And then leave it. Just park it and walk off. Who does that?
Well, let Scott follow through with the utilities and with the contractor, and let's see where if we can mend this a little bit for you.
And like I said, I want you to not sympathize, but empathize. Imagine if your wife and your 5-year-old son were told to go F themselves by one of the construction workers when you asked them to move their truck.
Again, no one deserves that. And again, I was hoping to give positive news of getting some binder on the road to get people to show that it's kind of coming. It has been quite a challenge dealing with utility relocations. I'm just trying to share.
I understand. I have acted as a general contractor, so to speak, for building restaurants. I understand electricians, plumbers, carpenters, painters, tilers. I understand trying to work them all together in the tightest schedule possible and trying to overlap their work. I get that. Totally understand that. I am sympathetic to what you are going through. So please understand that. Knowing that, that's where my level of anger is. It's not so much in, I get it, the work, it's a pain in the butt. I realize it's going to be a problem for us. Like I said, 3 years, Janesville Road I dealt with. You didn't hear from me much because I get it. My issue is the people that you have doing this job, whether they came in lowest common bid or lowest bid, what are you getting for your payment? And they need to be respectful of the people that live there. And that has been the furthest thing that I have experienced. So that's what I wanted to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Connie Laughlin. I live West 195, South 7147, Maple Court. I have a huge length of Hillendale on even though my address is on Maple Court. I also have the distinct pleasure or curse of living on Hillendale and Maple Court. So I feel like I've been in construction hell for a really long time. My husband has called you. He's talked to the mayor. And I want to thank you before I say this, that you now will send out weekly updates. I have been in education my whole life. Communication is the number one thing you do with parents, the number one thing you do with students. Your job is to communicate with us. There has been no communication from City Hall about timelines. Melanie talked about you can't find out anything unless you talk to John, who is nice. He tells you, well, this is what I know, but I don't know about that, because then you got to talk to somebody else who's not around. So we really need to be informed. And I feel like if you learn nothing from this whole project, you learn the importance of communication. My husband talked to the mayor twice about Maple Court. He asked for a reduction in taxes because we lived on a rural road. For 5 weeks, no one told us a thing. Finally, he says, oh, well, you know what? There'll be a letter coming out in a week. It'll tell you all about the paving of Maple Court. I think he thought of that on the spot because it arrived 10 days later after he verbally said we were going to get a letter. And it just said they couldn't pave the road because it would have cost too much to put down another layer. So we lived 4 weeks driving on a road that got softer and softer to the point that there were huge lips when you had to go out of your driveway. Part of my concrete driveway has little cracks in it at the bottom. It's just really sad because I appreciate what you do. This is almost a volunteer kind of position for you. You have other jobs, but you got to talk to the people who are being impacted by this. And if you have to say, I don't know, that's better than no word. No word at all.
Well, hopefully posting projected timelines are going to be a big help in that communication.
I agree.
Okay.
But that was decided at prompting, not from you, but from constituents who are fed up. I'm saying your job is to talk to us. You're elected by us. You talk to us. That's all I'm asking.
Now, when your husband called twice, right? I did talk to him both times.
You did?
Yep. And I, honestly, guys, I talk to people about Maple Court, Lake Meadows on a daily basis, either through email, phone. I have no problems. Call me anytime. Most people do. That's probably the better communication because I can stick something on the website and it doesn't, or John's out there for you. With Maple Court, and the reason why is we didn't want to. Okay, we took Milda off the road, and she had to do the road program. If the road didn't dry out because of how wet it was, we would have to take out the whole base, and it would have cost probably an extra $200,000 to the city of Muskego. And the idea was to dry it out, let it dry out, and then we paved it, and it didn't cost any extra money to the taxpayers. Now, I'm sorry that it did take a little bit longer to dry out.
It cost the 8 people who live on Maple Court and Samandal untold problems. 3 people have a motorcycle on that little stretch. They absolutely couldn't use them. It was dangerous for them to drive their motorcycles. That's what I'm saying. We lived on a rural road.
Is that resolved now?
Yeah, it's all been paved. Okay. Everything's been paved.
It is, and it's been seeded.
Yep, everything, restoration, and everything on that has been done. Again, we apologize. We didn't want to. We expected to pave it right away when we took it up. It's just that we're trying to use
no one told us for 4 weeks that you weren't paving it. And the only reason we found out is because we finally got a letter from the mayor.
No,
there was no communication from anyone.
I talked to your husband.
Individually. I'm talking the people on the street. One person. So then I go to the neighbor and say, "Did you hear?" And then they say, "Well, yes. And did you hear?" And I felt like we were in a rumor mill. Did you hear? I heard they're raising the phone poles or the utility poles. You don't know that. That's wrong. Someone has to say what's going on and when can I tell the people?
Well, that's where these weekly communications are certainly going to help. I'm sure Scott's going to find out about the utilities, any adjustments that needs to be made, and we'll post that as well.
Okay.
So hopefully we can resolve some of the communication issues, and I appreciate that. I know how important it is.
So I'm sorry I raised my voice because I don't do that. I don't even yell at my children.
I felt like I was at home.
But this has been super frustrating. And some of it, if we just knew, you'd live with it better. Why do they move electric boxes 4 times? Tell people, oh, it was too shallow. I mean, I don't know. We don't know why they're doing it.
No. Be aware also, too, some of this stuff is happening so quickly that we get a notice yesterday, today I got a notice that a lateral and they're out there tomorrow to move it already. So things are happening so much. I can do a blanket thing. By the way, there's utility conflicts, adjustments are being made in the field, but I'm not going to, some things will happen. I won't know address per address. It'll be just like a blanket statement that utilities are relocating based off of conflicts.
Well, I would think that you would have the phone number of people on the street or the email of people on the street, and that is a 30-second, they're moving your lateral today.
That's why John's out in the field to kind of knock on your doors to do that. I do not have any one of all your emails. I have emails when people reach out to me. I have your phone numbers when you call me. I don't have everyone's phone number or email.
It seems antiquated.
Well, we'll try to post those to make it available to everyone, not only on Maple, but up and down Hillendale as well, so that everyone has an opportunity to see what's happening. But again, bear in mind that that's a target, and we don't always control the target.
That's fine.
Okay?
That's fine. Then the next week it says delayed because it rained 3 days, or delayed because you had to do XYZ. But at least there's an explanation about what's going on.
And we'll make every attempt to continue to do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Just to her point, a number of the rumors, if you say you don't want to deal with rumors, we hear those from the workers up and down the road.
Again, and you know what? That's fine. Guys, it happens. I'm just telling you what I know. All right? I'm telling you what I know. All right?
I'm telling you what I know.
And that's fine.
Thank you.
My name's Nick Murphy. I live at W191S6417 Hillendale. I have some concerns about, like you just said, that the driveways are going to be done tomorrow. Well, the 6 feet of my driveway is buckled down. I hope that gets repaired. I mean, not just paved over. I hope it gets repaired. I mean, we wouldn't have known any kind of schedule unless my wife went out there and talked to one of the construction workers.
So again, when they do work and everything like that with the driveways, I won't know an exact date when they do it. I can say paving. Like I found out it was supposed to even be next week and I move it up, but please be aware too for driveways.
You're kind of like the last guy to know, but I'm saying for the record that 6 feet of my driveway needs to be redone.
And again.
And I look at my neighbors to the north, and they've got nice concrete approaches and all this other crap, and it's like, all right, I can deal with that.
Anything is, again, guys, once we pave, then we do walkthroughs and we do punch light items, kind of like building a house or anything like that. We look at, we walk it. If we don't like it, we tell them to rip it up and do it again. It's not even done yet. I got to at least have them give the contractors a chance to do it. I'm aware of concerns. I'm aware of your concern now that I'll do it. You can tell John out in the field.
I'm the dude that got the utilities ripped off his house by one of the contractors. Yep. So I'm 10K into this.
Yep. And
so I'm a little pissed off that 10,000 comes out of my pocket so I can mitigate damages in my place. And I don't want to.
And again, I'm not going to
make. Like the rest of these people, I'm done.
And you know what? If you're done with once your driveway's in, and if you still have an issue, send me an email. I have no problems. What you're doing and afterwards, I have no problems doing it. This is what happens on road projects. You say, by the way, or a damage was done by a construction vehicle. I'm telling you right now, it happens. And most times when we follow through with the contractor, we take it back. Or if we have damage and we're like, we have a saw cut line, if we have to go further into your driveway to fix it, we will. This is what you're saying is not uncommon. I'm just trying to tell you no. And just let me know.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
No, I've done this all. Like, you're not the only person that has said this to me already. So, right. I mean, we had 2 or 3 vehicles that were part of. They went on someone's driveway. We Energies, I think, solved one that's a couple down from you a little bit. They had to come back and take care of either driveway. So right. it happens. Guys, I apologize that it does happen, but these equipments are huge.
Yeah.
And it causes extra damage. But send me a note. After it's done, send me a note. If you don't like it, we do punch list items. I just don't pay the contractor.
To him, I would not be as polite as he is being. Mm. You know, I sleep during the day. I work 3rd shift. My wife goes out there and she's the one that regulates. And so far these guys have been pretty cool. But I tell you what, if they treated her the way he's being treated and his wife's being treated, hell no. And I'll call the cops. If the cops don't come, then I'm going to regulate. And that's the way it goes. Because nobody should have to deal with that kind of crap. Yeah. This is a project that eventually we're paying for. So why do we have to put up with your mouth or your soda cans or your cigarette butts or anything else that's going in there?
Again, I can follow up. That's not a problem. Again, even you guys send me an email. You don't have to come to a meeting. If you send me an email the next day, they have a problem. I pass it on. It's if you want stuff instantaneously, send me an email. I can pass it on right away. So just to let you know. So.
All right. Appreciate it.
Yeah, but let me know if it's. But at least give them a chance to get it done. Okay.
Yeah.
So and then we'll work on it. So that's not a problem.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin. One more.
Hello.
Hi.
Bob Seafeld, W193, South 6794. Question being is, are they going to give us, what kind of notice are they going to give us when they're going to pour our driveways?
So
I'm in section 2.
Okay, section 2. So again, it's kind of hard for me to say.
But I mean, are they going to give a day's notice to get
probably
out?
I'm probably going to be a day or 2 notice, and you're going to have.
Going to come door to door.
Correct. Either John Barberitz or usually the contractor and saying, guess what, we're going to pour tomorrow, and we're going to try to give you. And it's going to be a little harder for concrete because it's got to set a little bit longer. Do you have the colored concrete? Either colored concrete? Okay. There's so many different people with concrete.
I'm right behind Fox River.
Okay, so it's usually a day or 2. They're walking around on the schedule.
When will that start pouring?
So we're shooting mid-September for your area.
Okay. We got a huge birthday party coming in on Friday night.
Yeah. So we're
and also about exiting and entering on Hillendale. We've been blocked in like these other folks. Lembezier, why can't that be open? I was told by the police that you guys made that call.
Well, what's happening is we are having a lot of people on Lembezier coming on Hillendale, and we're trying to get them to go on the Gold Drive and not come on Hillendale. Like, Hillendale is supposed to be for you folks.
I understand that, but we need a way out, and that was the easiest way out to get to college, because try to make a left-hand turn on Racine off of Tans is terrible, so we're cutting through there. I mean, if there's, say, a traffic issue, like you did on Lyons Road, drop some, speed bumps.
Yeah. Well, it's hard. They kind of did it a little bit with the speed bumps with the pulverizing, but the problem why we
No,
cut.
not by us, but I mean, put them down on gold.
Well, what was happening?
Temporary speed bumps for the time being, if you're worried about traffic, and trust me, it's a racetrack out there.
That's why the police have been involved, is
I know.
because you live in Hillendale, and even though it's not supposed to be a through traffic way, a lot of people have been
they
taking
still
it.
use it.
Yes, and that's why we were trying to shut off the other ones and force them to go to their secondary access point and keep that road just for you folks who are living on that road. And again, that was a game plan here. If there is a situation, we can pull those barricades away. It is more just trying to control the traffic and having other people go on your road.
Is there any way that we can find out where the traffic pattern will be so we don't have to drive a half a mile down, turn around, and then try to get out another entrance? I mean, it's like pulling teeth on trying to just get out of your yard.
And I understand it's just tough right now because of the fact that we have things. You either have.
Right now, it looks like I can get out on Tans and go all the way down to College right now, because it looks like they just went south.
Correct. And except for tomorrow when they put the binder down, But when they have the binder down by the end of the week, I would suggest you going down that way because the pavement will hit from Tans down. Okay, it's a fluid situation, but right now it's like Tans is probably your best way. Or if you need to go down, I would recommend you trying to go down to Racine instead of College because they're going to be doing a lot of work kind of on the north section.
Again, too, I agree with him. The language, like when my wife's, they don't say it to me, but when my wife drives down the road and she's sitting there waiting with the little one in the car, yeah, they're very vulgar, very rude.
I can pass on comments.
Pass it on, or I can call Super X myself. I know exactly where they are.
Yep. And please be aware, there's a lot of companies, and even if, for example, you have AT&T out there, they use a sub for a contractor.
Yeah, and AT&T, I still got that main line sitting right coming out of my yard. Still waiting on that, and I mean, I know construction, I mean.
It's been very frustrating.
Not easy, but we've had good weather.
That's why
Keep it moving.
That's why we're trying to slam it down.
But tell the gentleman, tell these contractors, just give us our driveways.
Yeah.
4 times already I had to drive. My wife tries to go, she can't get out. So I got 2 bulging discs in my back. So I got to get out, drive her car to get out of the parking because she won't even try.
Now, the other thing too is probably coming, if you didn't get your new culvert pipe,
Yeah, the pipe's in.
Okay, pipe's in?
Yeah,
Okay.
the pipe's in.
So, it's
Yeah,
good.
the pipe's in. They just got to fine tune it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay,
Kevin,
John.
oh, she has something to add yet?
Good.
I don't even know if this is possible. When they start doing phase 2 of Hillendale, it is really hard. Sometimes you sit there 10 minutes and there are no flagmen. Nobody is trying to direct any traffic. We called the police and said, could you come over as police and just try to control some of this traffic? And that was not something they were going to do. He said, oh, we appreciate you live in a very tough spot in the city. That didn't get me a flagman. So when the road really, when you start doing a mile or a mile and a half of that road, there's going to be major delays of people who are, I don't know, they're going north or south or east or west, but you can't figure out when you're supposed to go.
When we do the pavement out there and start paving, they'll have to have flagmen because the amount of trucks that you have out there going on, it's going to be crazy. You can't if you don't. And if that's for the pavement, they have to. You have to do it. So, because it's too long of a road. So.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Engelhardt.
Yeah, I just want to say, first of all, I appreciate the patience that many of you have shown in spite of the difficulties you're facing. And I have stayed out of it a little bit, directing or deflecting to Scott because he's a better source than I am on any of your questions to begin with. That's what I generally have to do is go to Scott and say, this is what's been reported to me. So you're saving one step if you go directly to Scott's office via email or to call in. Wendy here will take your calls and make sure it gets forward. All I can say is the difficulties that you face with these daily, in spite of your frustration, make another call, please. I appreciate that patience allows it, but that's the only way we're all going to be able to work together. And I appreciate the remarks about communication. You're very right about that, but that's the only way we're going to get it. I don't want to say it's in defense of Scott. I'm here to say for Scott. I know he digs in when I bring a report to him, but getting that report is this problem. He doesn't always see that report as timely as you would wish. So your patience is so appreciated. And if I can be of any help, I'm glad to step in and hear what you have to say and try to relay and try to, build a fire where it needs to be built. So, but very few of you have had too much communication with me. But again, I'm just the middleman on that, so it works best if you go directly to Scott with them.
Well, thank you,
So
John.
you'll get to answer faster, but you're welcome to include me in the picture, all right? Thank you, and thanks for coming out, those of you who did. I know you were talking amongst your neighborhood, and you've even chosen certain people to represent you all at different times, because I've been approached that way already on this. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
One quick thing. Regarding my neighbor next door to me to the north, the one with the big berm. She's.
You know what, I mean, you can explain to me,
I'm just wondering, because she hasn't been ditched yet, and they tore apart her whole berm, and they took her blue spruce out of there, and it looks like it shouldn't even have been touched. And she's not here today. I thought she was coming. I told her to. Because it hasn't been ditched yet, so I'm just wondering if you know any progress, what's going to happen that property.
No, I would have to take a look at it and see where it is. Again, I don't know if
You
it's.
might want to go in there, because I know she wanted to come to town hall and talk to the mayor or talk to somebody. You might want to reach out to her. And Jennifer Pemble is her name.
Okay.
And I'm not sure. All I know is she's one door north of me.
Okay.
And like I said, she's the one with the big berm. If you see.
It was, I remember Big Burn, most of
Yeah.
it was in the right of way. We're gonna have to,
Looking at the ditch, it doesn't look like where it lined up. It doesn't look like she definitely shouldn't have lost that big blue spruce of hers.
okay,
But you might want to look into it. Reach out to her, let her know what's going on.
okay.
That's all.
I can have John maybe knock on her door. Is she at home a lot?
She works for a shift at Harley.
Oh, okay, I'll have maybe John knock on the door and give a card and say, have her give him a call.
Okay.
So, yep.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. I take it we want a police chief update.
No,
Nope.
Steve is not here.
Under unfinished business, we had a request for no parking signs on Parkland. I know that also Alderman Terrence had brought that up. Should we just hold that over to next
Can we
meeting?
just hold it to the next one? Is everyone okay with that?
Can we make a comment since it's on the agenda before?
Sure,
Should we
sure.
handle this as a tabling, or should we?
I would rather table it because Alderman Terrence brought it up.
Then I'll
and
move to table it till next meeting.
Yep.
Okay, I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? It's tabled till next meeting. New business, Mallard Ridge Public Improvements Approval.
Okay, so Mallard Ridge is a subdivision just across from Big Muskego Estates, and it's just north of Astor Hills there. It's a 45 lot subdivision that's going in. Go to one more. One more. Yep, there we go. That's a good one for you. So you can see Preagle Drive to the south, Durham Drive is right there. They already got a permit to start storing the spoils from the Great Water Alliance there. And so this is a Carrick home development. They're gonna probably pull land disturbance probably in a couple weeks, and they're gonna start doing grading work. So again, 45 lots, public sanitary sewer, stormwater ponds on the west side. There's wetlands delineated, and they'll also have public water. So just looking for approval to kind of the public improvements on that one.
Improvements?
Yep.
Okay. Move to approve.
Yeah, I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Presbyterian Homes.
Okay. So this one has been kind of sitting for a while, and the reason why is a lot with COVID. They didn't know their approach of what they were going to do. Yep, I can still talk. It's the old Test Corners school site that's been kind of sitting. The school's been taken down. So this would be a senior living. There's independent, there's memory care, there's full care. They have 3 wings. As you will see in the plans, there'll be public water main in there, and there'll be an access point off of Janesville Road. Let me see if there's a good picture, and you're getting close to it.
There we go.
Yep, so that's,
That one, you went to the next one.
let's see the next one. Let's see what we got the next one. No, keep going. Right there, that's a good one. So you'll see there's Janesville Road right there. They'll have the entrance point, Bushy's Bar is to the one side, just to the west of it. There'll be a large wetland stormwater pond on the south portion of it, and a lot of the water on the east side will be contained and go into that pond. The biggest concern has been from the neighbors have been a lot with regarding to stormwater. Right now, there's no stormwater pond. This would in fact put a stormwater pond there. So again, just public improvements. From my understanding is once they kind of get through this, they're going to pull a land disturbance permit and they're going to start moving dirt. And it'll probably then start doing foundation work in sometime in November. And that's the latest plan that we got from them. So.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Just a comment, I'm glad to see this is finally underway.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why with COVID, they deal with, individuals, and they didn't know where it was going to go. But finally, all of a sudden, they got the approval and they started going really quick. This should help too. I know we've gotten some complaints from neighbors about tall grasses, and so this should help that. So.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. Request for speed limit change on Ryan Drive from Grove Way to North Cape Road.
Okay, so Alderman Madden brought this to my attention, and hopefully it'll come. I'm sorry, there's lots of plans. So what the request is, oh, there's a good one. Yeah, but let me see if you can get it to the map. That's probably, yeah. Okay, so right now you have North Cape Road, you have Ryan Road. In the pink area, that is 25 miles an hour. The yellow area is 35 miles an hour, so it splits, all right? If you start looking on the west side, that's kind of Michaela Court down there. If that is the new subdivision by Burbeck, Muskego Lakes Estates, there's 6 lots left in there, just to kind of give you guys a perspective. If you go up Boxhorn Drive and then up and then out, that is all 35 miles too. So I'm letting you know that portion is 35 miles. And there's also potential that we've been talking with a couple developers to develop more places along Ryan Drive. St. Andrews Drive, there's, I think, only one building or one lot left. The condos have been going pretty strong there as well. The police, if you go back up, the report from the police, they had a couple accidents, but most of the accidents have occurred at Ryan and North Cape. If you go up one.
Yep,
No, you're still looking at the map.
yep.
So, but that's, the request was to turn that all road into 25. This road is considered a minor road. It's also, if you could go back up, I just want to kind of highlight the back up one, just highlight the memo if you go up. Okay, so these are, I do the last 5 years. Most of the Ryan and County double O, Ryan double O, Ryan double O, Ryan double O, those have all been the accidents that have occurred, just to kind of give you a nice perspective of what's happening. It's mostly out that one. I think the last one, if you go down one, go back down. Okay, Jimmy Demerit and Ryan Road. That was the only one that occurred on Ryan Road that wasn't on North Cape in the last 5 years. Like I said, this is considered a minor street in our comp plan. A minor street should be arranged to conform to the topography, discourage use by through traffic, permit the design of efficient storm and sanitary sewage system, require the minimum street area. There's no pass along Ryan Drive too, just want to make sure everyone knows. And also Boxhorn Drive connects to Ryan Drive and North Cape Road, has a speed limit of 35. So that still is 35. Again, from our standpoint, it's kind of leaving it up to the committee to see what you guys want to do. From our standpoint, it doesn't bother us one way or another for speed limit. I do also know that with more traffic of Muskego Lake Estates and more potential development, there will be more traffic. And with whatever was St. Andrews Drive, more traffic will be on that road. So now Alderman Madden might want to speak about this because she brought it to the attention. So.
Yeah, and the accidents have never really been the big problem. The problem is we've got a lot of elderly people that live in St. Andrews. A lot of people from Champions Village, they walk down Ryan Road. A lot of homes down there where they walk up Ryan Road. And that's their path, is to just go from Groveway right on up to Ryan and then back to their house. They're not too concerned about Boxhorn because they don't walk that way. The problem is there's a lot of hills. And when you're walking, all of a sudden you're walking into an oncoming car. And we all know if the speed limit is 35, that is a suggestion. So if we suggest 25, they might actually do 35. We just want to slow it down on that stretch of road. We're only asking for about 3 blocks to be changed, maybe 4 at the most.
Yeah, speed limits have nothing to do with the speed on the road. But I don't have a problem with it. I don't know about you, John.
Well, knowing what we went through when we lowered the speed limit just 5 miles on Hillendale, the pros and cons that came out in that discussion, I doubt we'll have that much discussion on this one because it's a much smaller thing. But when you lower, that's when you'll get the most discussion, I think.
Yeah, you probably won't get any discussion on that.
But taking your wisdom and input on it, I think it makes sense to go ahead with this and make it uniform. That's good too. But people do drive the perception of what they think the road is.
Right.
Yeah.
And if they ever start building up on Boxhorn, I won't be surprised if we come back and ask to lower that too. But right now there's not that many homes there, and it's just a beeline to the boat launch and out.
Also agreed, our description for that street, it's a, what kind of street?
Minor.
Okay. Minor streets throughout the city have been 25 regularly, and that's true. Having lived in other places and seeing streets that are like a Hillendale, set at 25, that don't work good either, because I've been in a city where they did a lot of that. And
Do you want to make a motion, John?
I'll make a motion that I think we should approve this.
A second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? It passes.
Please remember that this needs to go to Common Council for full approval, and then we'll do a resolution and change it, and then the police can write tickets. So.
There we go. Any other new business? Communications and miscellaneous business is authorized by law. Need a motion to adjourn. I'll make the motion.
Before the motion to adjourn, in light of this earlier discussion, I hope, Scott, we're not putting all kinds of things on you that, but it's part of what goes on. But I do hope these people will do their part in the communication too, I have found you to be very on top of it and trying to communicate back anytime you get a call. And that's the first notice you get of a situation a lot of times is when you do get the call. So I feel for both sides in what goes on, because knowing the...
Yeah, and I'm happy to do it. I mean, like I said, I've reached out to a couple people and talked to emails.
I'm not on Hillendale all the time, but since I live very close to it, I see a lot of what's going on there. And my goodness, they really have blocked the road many, many times with their equipment.
Yep.
And just looking up, until it became deconstructed at the end of Hillview, I would often still sneak onto Hillendale to get out. Now I'm avoiding that now since they've tore it up, but until they did that. And I would look up the street and see that they had the whole street just totally blocked. And I thought, somebody's on the other side of that and can't get out. So
I would have to say at one point, probably 3 weeks ago, there might have been 4 utility companies at once. Moving conflicts, and that's not how it's supposed to work.
No, it's and right at the south end of what is torn up right now, I notice there's 2 poles still have the old wires on. Those 2 poles, the ditch people had to avoid them now because they're not moved yet. And so here's this nice ditch laid out, and all of a sudden there's 10 feet unfinished. They got to come back, and the pole's right in the middle of it.
Sure.
And it's still got wires on it that shouldn't be on it anymore.
Yep.
So I understand the frustrations people are seeing, because it's real. Okay, I just want to make those further comments, and not against Scott in any way, because I know he's doing what he can. I am disappointed to hear the remarks about getting treated that way as public, though.
Yeah, true.
All right, now,
Motion to adjourn?
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.